June, 1 year ago, former Fox News chief Roger Ailes was riding high, presiding over the #1 cable news network, needling his good friend Donald Trump and successfully swatting away allegations of sexual assault. That all ended last July, leaving Ailes this week to die an ignominious death. From his earliest days in TV, Roger Ailes knew it was all about showmanship, an attribute he easily transferred from TV to politics back to TV.
Secret to life, find something you love to do, find somebody that'll pay you to do it.
It was 1996 when Rupert Murdoch hired Ailes to put together a cable news outfit to compete with CNN and MSNBC.
I think Fox News has come on the scene and identified itself as fair and balanced. We try to do that every day.
But fair and balanced belied the network's true mission, selling viewers on a populist resentment of liberals. For more than 20 years, Ailes ruled with an acerbic wit, profane humor, and a lust for women.
I would say that he is a man who is at war. He is at war with his enemies. He is at war with himself. He is at war with the world.
He won those wars, one by one, until he didn't. Dogged by a myriad of sexual harassment charges, including a $20 million settlement with one-time anchor Gretchen Carlson, Ailes was forced out last July.
Shockwaves, as one of the most powerful men in the history of television and politics, is ousted.
9 months later, the second most powerful man at Fox was forced out under similar circumstances. And today, Bill O'Reilly writes in USA Today that it was hatred that killed Roger Ailes. After all, he should know. That was tongue-in-cheek, obviously. I mean, clearly, Bill O'Reilly feels that hatred drove Roger Ailes out and, in turn, drove him out. I mean, I have to say, I understand USA Today, they put that thing on the front page, but can you imagine anybody else losing their job over, charges of sexual harassment, millions of dollars in settlements, dozens of women for the two of these guys, and he gets a front page forum, essentially to say things that I felt weren't really true. Because, I mean, for one thing, Roger Ailes had a serious health problem, going into this. He probably wouldn't have lived even if he hadn't been ousted. I'm sure that didn't help things because I think, I heard he wasn't doing well with it all. But, I can't say it's tragic, but you look at what a guy like him did for the industry, for the television industry, and really for the political industry. And to have this be your sort of final legacy it's tragic in this way. It's sad.
Look, I think any time someone loses their life, it's a tragedy. But when I heard this, I was shocked, first of all, when I woke up and heard the news. I remember back when a news director told me, you're only as good as your last story. I was making this argument that I had done some really good work before, and this news director said, but what have you done lately? Like, what's the best thing that you've just done? And so when I heard this, I thought, wow, here's someone who obviously hit a lot of home runs. I mean, it's pretty amazing what he was able to do. He took on CNN that had been the reigning king for so long and was sort of brushed aside initially and was able to build it up to the powerhouse that is Fox News. But what he will be remembered for is his last story. He never had a chance to either come clean, just be vindicated if that's what he needed to do, or at least make some sort of public statement. And what the public in general will remember him for is that last story.
I'm not sure that 5-10 years from now that is what he will be remembered for. I mean, to me, his defining achievement was helping elect Donald Trump. That I will personally consider the capstone to his career. I don't think Donald Trump becomes president without Fox News becoming what it has been. And that's a legacy that we're still seeing unfold, right now in real time. So I'm not sure he left, I know, under embarrassing circumstances, but I'm not sure that is what we should remember him for. I just don't think, I can't think of a non-politician who has reshaped American politics more than Roger Ailes.
Well, Jeff Zucker did, because he gave him that reality show and gave him a lot of airtime. So I think he could take some credit for that as well.
That's a fair point. But in terms of creating this sort of left-right divide across which people cannot talk, that's all Ailes. And that's a huge achievement and still with us.
Sure.
He was a genius of television, and we kind of see that now because Fox News' ratings have been sliding for a while. Aside from his personal problems, which I think are pretty disgusting, I think that his legacy is that over time, Fox News went from being a genuine conservative alternative to what was going on in the news to something that was regularly dealing with falsehoods and conspiracy theories. And that's a really unfortunate legacy.
I would agree with Dan on particularly on your last piece. When I heard the news, my first reaction was shocked, and the second one was very clear. Thank God Gretchen Carlson went forward when she did.
Yes.
Because two things happened. Not only did she get her own case before the public and was able to settle as she did, but because of her coming forward, all these other women came forward and told their stories. And it eventually went, through the whole company as it's still going. So that is the legacy I'll remember him for. I am not going to say that he wasn't a marketing genius. He certainly was. And that goes outside of television, by the way. I think one of the still best-selling books is his book that he wrote about Be Who You Are, or something like that, or Take the World. It's some simple title, but people still use it for all of the tenets of information he has there. But I am clearly, and I think many other people will remember, that the story there is Gretchen Carlson, thank God you stepped forward, because if the man had died after she had brought that forward, it wouldn't have worked. They would have swarmed him down. She was just trying to, smear his name.
True.